Ladies and gentlemen, after weeks of an exhaustive search, many auditions, we have finally done what I've been threatening to do for weeks and weeks and weeks. Nick has been officially fired as co-host of the No Holds Barred podcast. Allow me to introduce our guest today and the official new co-host for the No Holds Barred podcast, Tyler.
That's me.
Yeah. Tyler's the new co-host. Nick is gone, and we're all better for it.
I'm sitting right here.
I don't give a shit.
When were you going to break this to me? Like right now, when we're on the air?
Right now?
When we're like entertaining the massive amount of fans that we have?
Well, this is awkward.
Look, don't make it awkward, Nick.
Yeah, let's just
be graceful.
Let's just move. Let's just see how the show goes, and we'll make our decisions then.
Okay. You did buy me McDonald's yesterday.
It's true. So you owe me, motherfucker. Ladies and gentlemen, it is episode number 32 of the No Holds Barred podcast. As you just heard, we have a guest this week.
And he's keeping his pants on.
Exactly. He's keeping his pants on, much to our chagrin.
They're coming off later. Don't worry.
And this has to be guest number, got to be getting close to 10. This is Tyler Seelig, who you have, if you've listened to our podcasts, you're already slightly acquainted with, because we've told some stories and mentioned and name dropped and everything like that. So you're already moderately acquainted with Tyler. But Tyler, say hello one more time to the beautiful people.
Hi. And that's a lot of pressure to live up to.
Oh, yes. Because our audience, it holds everything that we have said strictly canonical. So if you're not 100%...
So I'm not awesome?
Exactly.
I might as well break it to you now. I am not awesome in the least.
I am my own audience, so I hold everything that we say pretty high up.
It's all pretty much canon, and it's right near and dear to your heart.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough. So the reason that we have Tyler on, we wanted to have Tyler on a couple times, actually. We wanted to have him on for the WrestleMania show. That didn't work out schedule-wise. We wanted to bring him on for another wrestling one before. That didn't work out schedule-wise either, because he's a busy motherfucker.
Because I am the Sting of your podcast.
Exactly. We have established this, that Tyler is the greatest podcast guest in the world to have never been on our podcast, like Sting with the WWE. So now, since apparently WWE has signed Sting for the 400th time, we've brought Tyler on to the podcast to fulfill that long-serving, prophecy? Can we call it a prophecy? That eventually the prodigal son will return.
It sounds good. Let's go with that.
Exactly. It sounds good. Let's go with it. So the reason that we brought Tyler onto this show is we're gonna exercise our nerd muscles. We're gonna be talking about DEM games.
Dem games.
Dem games.
I feel like I gotta say it every time someone says Dem games. I gotta be like, Dem games.
Dem games.
Dem games.
And by Dem games, we mean video games.
We
mean Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop games.
Totally.
Stratego, Monopoly.
Oh, board games.
Games usually played indoors by 12-year-olds. And we talk about games that usually played indoors by 14-year-olds.
Strip poker?
It says a lot about the way a lot about the way Nick was brought up.
Hey, what?
I swear to God, you are this close to getting refired. So yes, we're going to talk about video games quite a bit on this episode of the podcast. But before we get into that, of course, we got a couple of traditions on the show that we're going to force Tyler to sit through.
Thanks.
You got to do it. We'll bring you in on the traditions. You can contribute.
Exactly. So
maybe I don't want it. Depends what it is.
Yeah.
Well,
first of all, before we get into the traditions a little bit, we got to mention one more time, we have finally set up our page on Patreon. We explained what Patreon was last week. If you go to patreon.com/noholdsbarredproductions, you have the privilege of being able to give us money. We'll put it that way.
You're welcome.
Yeah. You are welcome. But yeah, so we have a Patreon page. One more time, patreon.com/noholdsbarredproductions. If you like what we do here, please consider supporting us, tossing us a couple of bucks a month. It's going to allow us to do even more things and keep this train wreck going. Now that we've gotten through with the business portion of the show, let's get into dick and fart jokes. What you been up to, sir? What's
What
new?
have I been up to? I've been up to absolutely. Well, I won't say dick all.
No.
I've been drinking a
I don't
lot
know
in
what
LA.
that was. Sorry. You've been drinking a lot of what now?
No.
In L.A.
Yeah.
At 26.
At 26, yeah.
You probably, yeah, you got it.
We got it.
You
What the
got
hell
it.
are you doing
We don't wanna
drinking in
get it.
LA at 26?
Well, no. I mean, fire department has been quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Finally got my key for the office in the safe, so I actually feel all like broken in.
Yeah, actually feel official.
Oh,
Now it's real.
Yeah, now it's real.
Yeah, fair
And I mean, I still got a lot to learn
Mm-hmm.
for the treasurership, but I
Right.
mean, I can come and go as I please now.
In case you didn't know, the Liverpool Fire Hall is so hard up for people that they're trusting this fool with money.
Yeah.
And dang.
Dang. No, I'm pretty good at it. Yeah.
Cocky
And,
son of a bitch.
I
So
won't
he
say
says
I
now.
won't say that I'm pretty good, but
You
I'm
literally
pretty
just
good.
said
I call
won't-
bullshit.
I won't say that I'm good at it, but I'm kind of good at it.
Right. Okay. You're getting there.
Okay,
You're
yeah,
getting
I'm getting there.
Right on.
And as for that, I mean, God, I'm moving into my own place with Buddy that
Right.
you met when we went and saw Trailer Park Boys, which was
Jared.
awesome.
Yeah, Trailer Park Boys 3 was really good. It was better than the second one. It was funnier than the second one because they didn't treat Bubbles like he was the main character. And that's my biggest issue
Same.
with like Trailer Park Boys, the second movie, and the 7th season. Like the last season that was on Showcase, like they treated Bubbles like Bubbles was the main character,
Yeah.
and it took a lot away from the show.
Yeah.
So they didn't treat Bubbles like he was the main character this time, and he was back to, I don't want to say a sidekick role, but he was like, it was about all three
It
of them.
was
rather
about all
than
three.
Like,
All three of them had a main storyline.
yeah,
going.
exactly.
It was awesome.
It was good. It was good
Yeah.
stuff.
And I mean,
Spoilers.
jeez, yeah. Whoops.
Fuck you, Tyler.
And I mean, as for that, I mean, really, I'm most psyched about moving in.
Yeah,
That happens in June,
that happens in June.
and I'm gonna make a video about it and put it up on the page.
Yes, because people on YouTube fucking love like apartment tours.
And some
People
gravy and
watch
mashed
apartment tours, which
potato.
doesn't make any sense to me.
And unboxing
And
and, shit.
unboxing,
Like that
yeah.
shit doesn't
Like
interest
that.
me at all.
Hey, that's some really interesting shit. Don't knock the people.
Fuck people.
Not me. I do unboxing videos.
I know. Fuck you too.
God damn.
No, but yeah, I can't wait. All the creative juices is gonna fly out of that apartment.
Just gonna be splooshing everywhere.
Oh man, all up over the wall.
I'm gonna walk in and it's just gonna be creative juices up to my ankles.
Ew.
I'll be like, nobody's cleaned in here in a while.
Yeah. No.
Right on.
No, but
bitch.
yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, but kind of yeah.
Right on. Tyler, what about you? Rather than having to answer what's new, why don't you like why don't you tell people who you are?
I don't want to. I'm so uninteresting, though.
Well, yeah. Well, oh, yes, because we're the most interesting dudes in the world, the people that host the fucking thing.
Yeah, but seriously, here's my day. Like, I wake up, and I go to work, and then I come home, and I play games.
Then he goes to bed.
And if I don't work, I get up, I go to Tim Hortons, I come home, I play games, and then I go to bed.
And there's some jerking off in there somewhere.
Well, there's a lot, but I don't feel the need to, tell anybody.
Oh no, there is always a need. The need is ever present.
At least 4 times a day.
Nice. Right on.
Maybe 5.
4 is a nice round number.
It
It's
is.
like it's not too much where it's like sociopathic and shit, but it's enough that it like satiates you.
Yeah, but after a few times, it starts to lose its fun.
Yeah, it starts like getting like chafing and shit. Sometimes that's not fun. That can get rather painful. So now that we've talked about jerking off a bunch, who Tyler is to us, in case you don't know, we all went to high school together. Like we've said before, Nick didn't move here until it was like we established it was grade 10.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until grade 10 and before Nick came into our lives, but me and Tyler go way to fuck back. It goes back to like.
Well, we knew each other in grade 1.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, fair enough.
But we probably didn't start mobbing together. I always got to say mobbing.
Yeah,
mobbing
fair enough.
together seriously until what, 7?
It's got to be 7 because who the fuck mobbed together in like elementary school?
Yeah, I know.
I had people that I liked in elementary school, but nobody that I really like. People I didn't. Sorry to use the phrase mob with, but yeah, it was pretty much in grade 7. So I mean, we're talking 1997 all the way to now. We're talking 16 plus years, son. God
you just
damn.
go Joe Rogan on us.
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
That
Son.
shit's crazy,
That
son.
shit was crazy. Yeah.
Son.
So it's been, it's been a long friggin' time. So we have a lot of communal experiences together, and I mean that in a totally homosexual way. Exactly.
One of us had to say it. I didn't know if you do that or not.
Oh, we were both going to grab that. And again, we've done creative stuff together for years, off and on, and we tried the whole podcast thing a little while ago. We did one episode, which I thought was really good, and then we just didn't do anymore. Which that episode is actually still up, which I might actually toss in the show notes. So if you want to listen to just me and Tyler ramble about our pasts and things that we've done and injuries that we caused, mostly him on me.
It's not nearly as professional as this.
No, it's
this
true,
one.
but fair enough. But it's got passion, and that's what matters. So if you want to listen to that episode, I'll toss that in the show notes on the YouTube page. But that's who Tyler is. So there's a shit ton of history there, and we're happy. It only took 31 full episodes of this podcast and 20 some of the other podcast to finally get you on.
Should I advertise the blog?
You should actually. That was the next thing that I was going to bring
talk
up.
games, and what do you know? I have a game blog. What a coincidence!
Exactly. Yeah, advertise that shit.
So what's the URL?
Oh, Jesus.
No, it's blogspot.com. No, onthegamely.blogspot.com.
Yeah, one more time. That was onthegamely.blogspot.com because Tyler's too elitist to use .ca like all the other Canadians.
Well, they all redirect.
It's true. It all redirects. But yeah, on the I was about to say on the podcast. On the
I have a
Gamely.
podcast called On the Podcast.
Exactly.
There's a trend there.
And it's the only podcast where you're on the podcast.
Yes.
It's great.
Hey, you got to pay me for saying that.
It's true. Royalties, motherfucker. On the Gamely.blogspot.ca, where this fucking fool talks about video games two, three times a week at least. Like you usually got a pretty good schedule.
Yeah, not lately, but usually.
It's good advertising.
What?
not so much lately, but yeah, no, fair enough. Because you do like your weekly news roundup, which you just posted today. You told me, and game reviews and all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah.
One gameplay video where he plays Goat Simulator for 11 minutes.
I gave that shit a plot.
You did.
It's a terrible
True.
video, but you should watch it.
It almost qualifies as a machinima.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah,
And it wasn't originally going to be that way. It was just going to be like clips put together.
Yeah.
But then I kind of thought, hey, I should make a story.
Exactly.
It was very organic.
Yeah, there you go. Organic. That's also a phrase that this guy likes to use a lot. So that'll be dropped probably a couple of times.
Only because you said it that one time
It's
in
true.
an old video.
Yeah.
And at first I was just making fun of you,
but
now I just got to say it.
And that's how all the great things begin. Is like they start as making fun, and then it's like, wait a minute, this actually makes sense. Let's start using it legit. So we kind of did start using it legit.
Organic. You can drink it. You can smoke it. It's all good.
Oh, that's true. Fair enough. As far as me, I good Lord. And the podcast totally derails.
I wish Jacob was here to be like, see ya.
Yeah, see ya. Butt cracks. I am still waiting on that friggin' GeoNose award.
Are you?
This has been like a recurring theme for this podcast for the last like 3 or 4 episodes. I won an award on YouTube for being the most entertaining dude that talks about football. and I've been waiting to get the actual trophy ever since the Super Bowl, which was in early February. So we're at like two and a half months now. And I'm just like, I want my friggin' trophy. So I'm still waiting on that friggin' trophy. So Gio, if you're listening, I want my trophy, God damn it. Aside from that, the major thing that's going on right now is like NHL playoffs just started the middle of the week, started on Wednesday.
Yeah, and they didn't have that shit on the TV at work.
Oh, no?
No.
Really? What were they playing on the TV?
Just our regular, they have a, like, who's on calls and minutes in between calls and shit like that for everybody in the center, and that's what they put up.
I call bullshit on that. There's hockey to watch.
I know, and they had Olympics on there, so you would think that they would put playoffs.
Yeah, you'd think that, like, first round of the playoffs, they'd be going. But, like, so fucking NHL playoffs are on. The NBA playoffs start tonight. The Quebec League is in the third round of the playoffs. So I'm basically just in heaven. Like, it's just like, there's playoff sports happening everywhere. So I'm just like, this is so good. And MLB just started up, too. And as I said, I'm one of the only people I know that can sit and watch a Major League Baseball game from first pitch to last pitch, which is not saying it can't get boring, but
it's tough though.
It is. It's I shouldn't characterize it like it's the easiest thing in the world to do, because it's definitely not. You know, it's a bit of a stretch sometimes.
Yeah, like I love baseball. Like I like playing it, but to sit down and watch it is almost impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, and if we still played it like we did back in the day,
we were superstars.
We were fucking awesome. I struck out 13, 14 times in a row, being lobbed to underhand pitching. I was just like, wah, and I just missed like 50 pitches in a row. That was depressing. Aside from that, literally nothing is new. Like, it's just, since the last time we sat down and did this, honestly, absolutely nothing has changed, other than the fact that all those playoffs are on. But I had a bit of an epiphany.
Did you?
It was a big one, and it wasn't in the bathroom.
Do tell, Justin.
Yes.
Do tell.
I was sitting down, and I was talking to a friend of mine, Morgan, because I have to cite her in this conversation. Sorry, what?
Freeman?
Yes, Morgan Freeman. That was a horrible Morgan Freeman voice.
You talked to the president?
I totally talked to the president from Deep Impact, which we talked about earlier today.
Apparently God.
Yeah, and God. FYI, Deep Impact's a better movie than Armageddon.
Much better than The Core.
Exactly.
Oh, God, yes.
The Core sucked
Core
balls.
is not a good movie. But yeah, so I had a bit of an epiphany talking to my friend Morgan. I was like, because we were having a conversation about, I don't know, some dude. And we were just blistering this fucking guy. I've never met this guy, but we were just blistering this guy, going up one side of him and down the other. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, wow, I'm really negative sometimes. So I had this epiphany. I'm thinking, like, am I too negative as a person? And I did this thing that we do because and we've said this for a long time before, we're very self-aware people. like we are constantly like metacognitive about the things that we say and the things that we do, and I think we think about them quite a bit after the fact. So I'm like sitting there just like taking inventory of my whole fucking life. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, am I too negative? And I was like, I'm either too negative
or you think too much.
Well, no, that's a given. I do. There's no question about that. I think way too much. I live within my own head. But I'm just like, I'm either too negative or I'm really good at picking out bullshit and I'm not afraid to talk about it. And sometimes it's a fine line, because you talk about bullshit or things that are bullshit and you inherently come off as negative.
Well, of course.
Right? So I'm just like, does that mean I'm too negative, or does that mean I'm just really good at picking out bullshit and I'm not afraid to talk about it? I'm not sure which one it is.
It's just more appealing to talk about bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, how much fun is it to be like, oh, it's really nice out there today?
Right.
It's much more fun to rant and rave, and then people start thinking you're smart.
Negative, but smart.
Negative, but smart. Like, oh, he knows a lot.
And sometimes it's just like, oh, it's raining. Oh, whatever it is, what it is. But it's so much more satisfying to be like, fucking rain, fucking weather. When's the sun coming back?
Hate rain.
Jesus fucking
Why does it even exist?
Rain. Why do we need this? Exactly. And it's just like, oh man, that guy's so negative. And I'm just like, no, rain is just bullshit. I'm not afraid to talk about it.
You're a realist.
There you go. I'm not negative. I'm a realist.
Yeah.
There you go. Tyler just made me feel better.
All it took was 3 words.
3 words. Hey, I never claimed to be a complex person. I'm very easy to please. Tyler making people feel better on the No Holds Barred podcast.
Nick, you're also an awesome person.
Yay!
Now he got it better than I did.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna start.
You're
he got more
realist.
words.
No.
You're a realist. I'm just an awesome person.
There you go. You don't have to be a realist. You're great just the way you
That's
are.
hey.
Nailed
Funny
it.
sometimes.
I think
That's
actually,
about all I can say.
I think you're fucking hilarious.
Did you see those pictures? Like, it's a meme or whatever, where it's like reasons to date me.
Yes.
And it's like, I won't cheat. I'm funny sometimes.
Yeah.
That's it.
At the end.
And the
Yeah.
sad thing is, like, I relate. That's the worst part of it. I relate to it.
I always feel so weird talking about stuff like that because it's mostly like 14 to 16-year-old girls that post those pictures. But it's just like, you know what? I relate to that. And here we are sitting 29, 28. It's just like, you know what? Sometimes you just relate to that stuff.
Sometimes you just got to be a teen girl.
It's fair enough.
I tell you.
So this is as good a time as any now that we're at least 20 minutes into this thing. Now that we've got our introduction.
And we've accomplished nothing.
Hey, we talked about some important stuff. Kind of. I think it's
jerking off.
jerking
Hey,
off
that's important shit right there.
jerking off and 14 to 16-year-old girls, but not in the same context.
No, totally in the same context. Let's just be real here.
I'm a teacher, sir. I need to get. All right, you said be real. You might as well say the line.
I'm gonna be real because be real was real.
There you go. This guy loves that phrase. He can't say he's going to be real about something. He's got to say, I'm going to be real because be real was real, which is a callback to Eminem and
Girls.
Yeah,
it
Girls.
was a Limp Bizkit diss.
I was going to say 8 Mile for some reason, but it wasn't in 8 Mile at all.
No.
Yeah.
He was insulting Fred Durst. That must be really difficult to do.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, hell, we insulted Fred Durst a bunch when we were looking at old yearbooks because, like, we were just before we were on the podcast. We were, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say on the
only
podcast.
podcast where you're on the podcast.
Copyright infringement to Tyler's podcast, which you can find on what YouTube channel?
I don't know.
Come on, goddammit.
Just go to the blog.
Yeah, there you go. Just go to the blog on thegamely.blogspot.ca and listen to this guy's podcast with his younger brother Jacob, who he mentioned earlier.
He's much smarter than I am. There, I'll give him props.
Give him props.
He's gonna be a better me when he grows up. A much better me.
He's going to be a better him, and he's got years ahead of you. So it's just like he's got years to continue to develop. We've developed about as far as we're
What if he
gonna
becomes
develop.
like an absolute failure? Like he's just on the street corner or something?
And we'll be like, man, we got that podcast money. We got to take him with us. Good Lord. But yeah, so we were talking earlier and looking back at old yearbooks, reminiscing about high school days, which girls we thought were the hottest in our high school class, and which girls had totally fallen off the wagon since high school.
Because we should totally judge
Hey,
that.
oh, totally.
Three
totally.
handsome men.
3 totally handsome, dashing men who are married with success. Yeah.
That's us.
That's us, all right. We nailed
Podcast
it.
over. We are better than you.
Drop the mic.
I
See
would,
ya.
but Nick would get mad
Yeah, it's true.
that I broke his shit.
It's true. Don't drop the mic.
Don't drop the mic.
But yeah, so we were doing that, and we were looking at like every year in the yearbook they would do like a year in review kind of thing, like what was the best and worst of the year, blah blah blah. And aside from the fact that movie tastes tended to be terrible,
Oh God.
musical tastes were questionable as well.
But has anything really changed?
Oh no, not at all. It's true. Not very much. I don't think has changed from that. But like Limp Bizkit seemed to show up a couple of times in like best bands, and I'm not gonna lie, we listened to a shit ton of Limp Bizkit back in the day.
In the day,
Yeah. So I mean, like in historical context, it makes sense. Like Chocolate Starfish and the hot dog flavored water, and now you look at it and it's just like, man, what the fuck were we thinking?
I actually occasionally still turn on Limp Bizkit, but like I said to you guys earlier, I'll say it again. Part of the charm of Limp Bizkit now is Fred Durst and his terrible lyrics.
It's true.
Because like Wes Borland and I can't remember the other guys' names. Like the other people in the band aren't actually bad, especially Borland because he's creative.
Yeah.
Like they make okay music for what it is,
Like
but you throw Fred Durst on there with his terrible, cheesy lyrics about like putting on his headphones, listening to the Deftones. It's getting kind of crowded of a spaceship living in a dream. Yeah. Like that's terrible. But Jesus. At this point, I wouldn't even want Fred Durst to be out of it.
No, it's
because
true.
He's so bad.
He's the appeal.
Yeah.
And it's true because like Limp Bizkit got tangibly worse when Wes Borland left.
Oh yeah.
Like they got like tangibly you could just point to it. It's just
yeah.
That's what the missing element is in Limp Bizkit.
Well, because he was, like I said, he was creative. Like even in the live shows and stuff with his masks and all that shit. Like he was actually pretty creative. I'm not saying I'm a Wes Borland or Limp Bizkit fanatic, but
right.
Like he's pretty talented.
You totally are. You're a total mark for Head for the Barricade for all the wrong reasons.
I'm not gonna lie. I've listened to that song a lot because it's like an inside joke with like 3 different people. Yeah, that's my word.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
And that's basically Limp Bizkit in a nutshell. For the Limp Bizkit cast, I'm Justin.
I'm Tyler.
That would be a terrible podcast.
I think you guys should do it.
Let's talk about shit that happened 5 years ago because that's all we can do.
Podcast all about Limp Bizkit.
Absolutely.
Okay.